This is the cheapest Bentley Continental GTC in the UK. And I won this for a bid of £9,800 from Copart. But there is just one little catch. The car, it was involved in a crash. And just as I thought things couldn't get any worse, they did. I had major engine issues with this car that I had to deal with. Starting with thick plumes of smoke coming out from the exhaust and a potential head gasket issue.
You see the screw?
Yeah. And most recently, a failing water pump which was causing the engine to overheat. But that's just the risk you take when buying a crash damaged car from Copart without seeing it, without hearing it, and without test driving it. Since getting this thing back home, all I really know is that the previous owner was some big time influencer called Lorna Lux. I even managed to dig out an old photo of the exact car before the crash, and I've got to say, it looks mint. Now, I originally thought that this would be a nice, simple Copart rebuild. You know, get it in, a few panels, maybe a bit of paint, and back on the road. But of course, that didn't happen. In true Copart fashion, it's turned into anything but a straightforward job. And in today's video, I want to make sure I can get this engine mechanically sorted without having to sell my left kidney. But before we even think about turning that key, we've got a bit of work to do. First up, a full engine service. And not just any service, this thing is 40,000 miles overdue. Yeah, that's not ideal. Then we've got some special bits to add to the engine, but I will reveal those later on. And finally, probably the biggest job of the lot, changing that water pump. That's been a major concern since we saw this car start to overheat, and fingers crossed replacing it will get us one step closer to sorting this engine out once and for all. So straight away, got ordering a next day part from Flying Spares. Pretty good guys, they have a lot of parts for Bentleys. So water pump's here. We're going to get the car taken inside, see how long it's going to take to strip down this car to get the water pump fitted, because as I've said before, these engines aren't necessarily easy to work on. So let's get this car taken into the workshop. Right, first things first, let's get the car up on the ramp so we can start stripping the front end down. Now, there's a lot of screws and nuts that need removing for this job, and that's because like most engines like this, access is basically non-existent. You've got to take half the car apart just to get to one component. So we're starting by loosening the front wheel arch, then we'll get the under tray off. That's held in by a load of screws which are also attached partially to the bumper. Now we've got that off, we can move on to the front bumper. All of the grills and trims have to come off first, which actually isn't too bad, just a few bolts holding them in. Once they're out of the way, we can finally get access to the rest of the bolts we need.
Maybe we can give him gloves and let him help me, no? Do you want the gloves? You will be holding it for this bumper.
Yeah, I don't mind. And if you want to see more builds just like this, hit that subscribe button right now. No damage here really, is there? Radiators, everything's all fine, isn't it? Most of it's just the just cosmetic, yeah. Next up, the crash bar. We're going to loosen up those bolts holding it in place, because once that's off, we've finally got access to the rad pack.
But we don't have access to this, even to the belt.
So just for that, all of this has to come off?
Move this, everything.
You heard him. Everything has got to be removed to get to the water pump. Now's a good time to drain whatever coolant is left in the system. I'm going to chuck in a bit of water for now just to check for any more leaks before we go filling it up with the good stuff, because let's be honest, 19 litres of G13 coolant is not cheap, and I'm not looking to waste any of it. And finally, we'll undo a few more bolts and screws on the rad pack, just enough so we can wiggle it forward and get the space we need to finally remove that water pump.
Yeah, this is pump pulley. You'll see now when we open the pump, it will be leak. Could be thermostat on this way.
Yeah.
And it's blocking from the engine to the radiator.
We had to get the puller tool on there to stop the pulley spinning around. Just makes it a bit easier to crack off those bolts. Now that it's finally off, we've got proper access to the old water pump. Oh yeah, a lot of residue there. Now this bit wasn't exactly smooth sailing. There were 4 bolts holding the pump in, and honestly it was chaos. Awkward angles, tight spaces, bolts that just didn't want to move. Proper nightmare. But we got there in the end, managed to crack the bolts off and even drained a bit more coolant while we were at it. Now it's time to get the new part fitted. I actually picked this up for about £130, which for a Bentley engine is basically the cheapest part available. Fitting it was way more straightforward than taking it off. Slotted the new pump in place, 4 bolts back in and tightened down. Pulley on, belt wrap round, and then we gave the pulley a final tighten, and that's the job done. Just a bit of housekeeping to do so we don't have any squeaks when we get this car running again. So it's been a couple of days now since we got the water pump changed on the Bentley. I needed to get a couple of parts. We needed filters, air filters, and obviously we're going to flush out the coolant as well since we've done the water pump replacement, because I didn't want to put coolant in just in case we have any leaks still. However, I've also bought some spicy stuff that I'm going to put into the engine today, which potentially is going to help fix some of those issues, as we have had some further developments in the diagnosis with the big problems we've got with the Bentley, I'll say. So fingers crossed, in today's video, we're going to be able to fix and rectify all of those issues we have with this engine on the Bentley. So let's go back inside and see what's going on with this car. First things first, car's back up on the ramp and we've got to get the under tray off again. Always fun. We have got a bit of an oil leak going on over here, maybe coming from the rocker cover. But I've got something a bit special today that might just sort this whole thing out. Do you think today the stuff I'm going to put into this car is going to fix the smoke coming out of the exhaust? What do you think?
Maybe yes.
Maybe? Maybe. Next up, we're cracking off the drain plug to finally see what 40,000 mile old engine oil looks like. And yeah, it's as grim as you'd imagine. How's it look?
Oil.
Old oil?
Old oil.
Very thin, isn't it? 40,000 mile old oil. But this is where it got even worse for me. Removing the oil filter is a simple job, but what isn't simple is understanding the state of this filter. I've never seen anything like it before. It is very thin, isn't it?
Look at this oil.
What the hell, man?
Look at the seal there.
Oh my god.
Very old.
Very old.
Very old.
40,000 miles old. This is what happens when you don't service a car in a long time. Any metal in there, or you think it's okay?
I don't think so.
It's okay.
But it's really low.
Serious. Have you ever seen a Bentley like this?
No.
Well, that's quite a sight, to be honest with you. I've never seen an oil filter as dirty as that and clogged up, especially on a car like this. Bentley, people not servicing cars on time? That's not what you'd expect on something like this, but world's full of surprises. We gave the filter housing a proper clean up with some degreaser, got it all prepped, then slotted the new filter in. It's only held in with one bolt, so it's nice and easy. What is it? Just really thin, old?
Very old, yeah, very old.
It looks really mucky, doesn't it? It almost looks like water.
Even the color is, I don't know.
It's not mixed with water or anything. This is just old oil.
No.
Now we're draining out the last of the water I put into the cooling system when we swapped out the water pump. And to be fair, no more leaks, so we're all good on that front. So now we've got the oil drained out, coolant drained out, filter's been replaced, so we need to put some fresh oil in. We're going to put in some 0W40, get the coolant topped up, which is G13, and then we'll get on to putting some of that spicy stuff in, which I'll tell you about very, very shortly. Fingers crossed, it's going to get the job done today. New sump plug goes in, torqued up properly, and we can throw the under tray back on, tighten it up properly, because the last thing we want is that flying off at 200 miles per hour in a Bentley convertible. With the car back on the ground, it's finally time to give it what it's been crying out for, some fresh engine oil, 12.5 litres of the good stuff. I always check the dipstick once about 80% of the oil's gone in, just in case there's any old stuff still sitting in the sump. What do you reckon? And in my case, we still needed a bit more oil. Yeah, still a little bit more. This thing just drinks and drinks and drinks, but I expect nothing less from 2 3-litre V6s bolted together. More oil going in as we speak. Just never ends on this car. G13 antifreeze, it is concentrated, so we do need to mix it. So I'm just going to put 5 litres in at a time, and then we'll mix it with distilled water. Now, some people say to vacuum fill the coolant system, but because the expansion tank sits quite high on these, you can actually burp the airlocks out yourself. Just grab a big funnel and let it do the work. And while we're at it, let's get those old air filters out. They've also been sat in there since 2022, 40,000 miles ago. How's this one looking? Oh, look, nice. Got a little wasp in there. This is dirty, isn't it? Very dirty. At least it's original though. Is it very, yeah, original Bentley?
Bentley original, but it's
2021.
no, 18. The first is year.
Huh?
This year 18, month 02, date 21.
So hang on, this one was 2018, wasn't it? Yeah. But do you remember when we checked the other one? It was 22. Let's go and double check the date on the other air filter, because this can't be right. All right, let's see. What's this one say? So this is 25.
And then 22.
So was that one 22 as well?
Yeah, 21.
That one's 21, 22. So they're only a year apart. So I think that's okay, yeah, because sometimes some get made in different batches. So, okay. For a second, I thought that only one side of the filters was changed, but I think we're okay. Regardless, they're still not been changed in 40,000 miles, so it's not good, but it didn't get any worse. These engine bays are so tight. Look at that. There's literally no space at all to do anything whatsoever. You can ignore all this mess. This is from when I was trying to bleed the coolant. We're getting the Hoover out and we're doing some housekeeping. Hopefully these new filters don't have to cope with seeing another 40,000 miles. But I'll tell you one thing, they definitely are not cheap. Do you know how much these filters were? About £70 each. Each. Yeah.
But you know this Mali,
Yeah.
it's because original is coming Mali, yeah?
Okay, so this is a Bentley part, but it's still manufactured by.
Yeah.
So same thing.
Same company.
Same company, yeah. So if you have got a Bentley, go for the cheaper option. It's still manufactured in the same place and it does the same job. So for now, let's carry on with putting this car back together. And that's the service completed on the Bentley. Just one thing left to do. All complete. So now it's time to put in some of that spicy stuff. So we've got these two goods over here. One is called Stop Smoke for oil and the other one is Stop Leak. Stop Smoke is here to reduce exhaust smoke and oil consumption and increases compression, because potentially one of the issues that we have on this Bentley is that the valve stem seals are letting oil seep through, which could be the cause of why this car is smoking. The other additive, which is Stop Leak, is there for the rubbers which are perishing. This car's been sat around for a long time, so if anything these are going to do it some good, and potentially if we can solve this issue with just chucking a little bit of these additives in, we're going to save ourselves quite a bit of cash. So let's get it put in. This one here is to do with the rocker cover leak. It just revitalizes all these rubbers and stuff, lubricates them again. And this one I think is proper thick stuff. Yeah. Honey. Maybe from that bee that we found in the air filter. Now it does say that the contents of this treats up to 6 litres of engine oil, but because I'm using 2 different variants, I've got Stop Leak and then obviously we've got Stop Smoke, I don't want to be putting too much into the engine. So one of these, one of those, and will it head more towards our story of thinking that we've got potentially valve stems leaking or just generally there are some old rubbers perishing which are causing oil or something to go where it shouldn't. Let's see what's going to happen.
I mean, it's worth a shot. I've not got anything to lose, but there's so much to gain if this does fix the issue.
Yeah. I'm happy if you're happy. Now what we need to do is get the car taken outside, leave it to run for about an hour or so, give it some revs for obvious reasons because I can't yet drive it. We haven't got any MOT on the car and obviously the car's got damage. So we're gonna do that, give it an hour or so, let the car cool down completely, then I'll come back and we're gonna see if the issue with this engine smoking has been rectified. And if that is the case, then we're gonna be onto a winner and we can get moving to get this car taken down to the body shop so we can actually get this car back on the road and make it the cheapest Bentley Continental GTC in the UK or even in the world. I'll say it. Fingers crossed. Let's get it taken outside and see what happens. So the time is 7 o'clock in the evening and we've had the car parked here since the engine's been turned off for about, I'm gonna say 4 or 5 hours now. So the car's had some time to cool down. Obviously I had it running up to temperature for about an hour or so, but let's just jump in now and see if this car is doing any better than what it has been over the past few weeks. So I'm expecting there will be quite a few dash lights on. Obviously the air suspension is a bit all over the place at the moment, but it needs a drive. It does sort of recalibrate itself. But that aside, let's get this engine turned on. Let's have a look and see. Do we have any smoke? It doesn't look like we've got any smoke whatsoever. Not even a single bit of smoke. Oh my God. Has it actually done it? Has it actually done it? Oh my God. There's definitely no smoke coming out of it, is there? Definitely. 100% there is zero smoke coming out of this exhaust, visibly that we can see.
Could it really be that it was some seals that were perishing from the car just being sat around for a long time? Or maybe we had a buildup of condensation? Either way, the car isn't smoking no more. The heater is blowing hot air and the car isn't overheating. So I think it's fair to say the Bentley engine is fixed.
I'm actually in shock, guys. I can't believe that the car's fixed. This has been a labour of love and a big stress, to be honest with you, because if I did have to strip this engine down and get that head gasket sorted, this would have been a very expensive job. But as it stands, have we just dodged a bullet? Well, it seems that way because it is not smoking at all. So on that positive note, guys, I'm going to end this one here. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe if you're enjoying this Bentley series so far. But next up, the bodywork. So I'll see you all on the next one. Take care, guys.